the perfect time. All right, right before the end of the year. It's just time, and this is well overdue. It's concerning my uncle Charles Winfrey from Flint, Michigan. Many don't know, that's my hometown. And I've been involved politically for almost the last 15 plus years. Former ethnic vice chair of the Michigan Republican Party back in 2016 when Trump won. Been active all the way up to 2020 as delegate, and been involved as an activist plus from there on the national, international stage, pro-Israel, etc. But this story really is about my uncle, and it's about our rift. It's about our division. It's about things that other local leaders from Juantez Davis. I've talked to Leon Alameen, council member. I've talked to former president of board of education in Flint, Danielle Green, Dr. Danielle Green, and numerous other leaders. You can just name them. I've worked with pretty much everybody. Maurice Davis, shout out to Maurice Davis. He supported Trump. That's my man's forever for that, in Flint. But most importantly, who I'm talking about is like an icon in Flint. Stiller, a pillar. I said Stiller, but he really is like a thief in some cases to me. I'm gonna lay all this out. And some people feel like they're privileged to do certain things. So they feel like because maybe they've helped, they've been around for a while, even if they've used their position for themselves, they feel entitled to certain things, and I can care less, and I couldn't feel more different about him personally and just our relationship over the years. He's been someone that has helped me. So understand this isn't someone that I'm trying to throw under the bus. I'm letting you know my honest feelings, and I would say it to him and anybody else. And he already know this. So this ain't, he know how I am. He knows how I get down, and he know I mean business. Okay, period. So, at the end of the day, I'm really disheartened that he chose to go in the direction of extortion and attempting to extort me as a young man in Flint, trying to, change my life, make a difference. Instead of my family and my uncle supporting and doing what they wanted to do to try to bring camaraderie and keep our family together, they chose to go in a different direction. They swung first. Let's just say you start a fight with me, I'm gonna finish it. So, I don't go looking for a fight. But you say we got a problem, no problem. Okay, period. So that's how it is. So this is not something that I started. This isn't something that I will ever take any type of responsibility for, in the sense that this person chose to do this, chose to slander, chose to attack. Vicious and malicious things. These people have tried to my uncle specifically, but his minions and people he's worked with, they've done some shady stuff to people. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the little guy. I ain't talking about big people. They know how to target the weak. So that's another reason why I don't really respect him, and I don't respect people who have did things that he wanted them to do. Like that's how he plays people. Against each other and against themselves. So it's just I gotta get this out because people have wanted to know how is our relationship, what is it that me and my uncle Charles Winfrey, Snyder and Flint, he doesn't care about Governor Snyder or Trump, but my uncle is so tactful, and I want to say malicious. I want to say downright demonic, like demon. Okay, he's such a different type of person for real in real life. Like people don't really know what I know. Like they don't see because they don't understand who this man really is. Like he's really a weird, odd type of figure. You know what I'm saying? Like in real life, he's quiet. He doesn't say a lot, doesn't talk a lot. He's very awkward. He doesn't know how to publicly speak. So you will never catch Charles really speaking publicly. You won't ever hear him saying a whole lot. Very introverted, very how can I put it? Very introverted, very just very very the person that likes to calculate everything. He's just very calculated. This is how he is. You know what I'm saying? He's always been like that. And all my life, I actually, to a large extent, when I was younger, I looked up to him. I'm being all the way real. Like, something really caused this to happen. And again, I'm gonna tell you how he extorted me or attempted to extort me, and that's where everything went haywire. So it wasn't just politics. My uncle will work with, again, Snyder, Trump, anybody to get at you if you're his enemy. He'll do anything. There ain't no highs and no lows, I don't believe, in his realm and the things he's done to try to stay in power and to do certain things. And I think that's really why Woodrow Stanley, former Mayor Woodrow Stanley, former state rep out of Flint, really they're best friends, and why he needed him so much, because he's very calculated. I mean, he's by far the brains of the operation in Flint. Any political candidate, from judgeships to anything coming through Flint, you going through Charles Winfrey. In fact, when Trump got attacked in Flint by a black pastor there, lady pastor, Ira Combs was behind it, but also my uncle Charles Winfrey was behind it. They attacked Trump when he came. So understand, they will work with whoever to get rid of their political opposition. But then at the same time, like, he's no Republican at all. He'll deal with whoever for politics and for his own interests. So I got to give it to him. When it comes to knowing how to be political, I mean, my uncle, you probably can't get no better than that. Like, honestly, the man has taken a lot from me, but I also gained a lot from him. So I'm just being honest. This is to give him his accolades, and it's also to give him what I feel he deserved for what really publicly needs to be stated about him. Because he has done good, and Woodrow Stanley and them did do good, and they had a very much good intentions for the black community. I think they held on to power for so long, though it was too long, and now that the Gretchen Whitmer and her entourage has been in Flint trying to stir up things, partnering with Neely, and Neely was also with my uncle for so long, or at least was supported by him. They recognized their mistakes. So then the Karen Weaver popped up, and I think she's like the remedy for Charles Winfrey and Woodrow Stanley and all they did wrong over the years. So I support Karen Weaver 100%. I support even them for the positive that they want to do. But when it comes to personal respect and just me and him personally, I'm just being honest. It's up and it's stuck. It ain't never gonna be different. And I don't think it's gonna be no reconciling with my family at all. Zero, zilch. Okay, I'm just being real. And then look, to be honest, ain't no love lost with me and my family. I love my family. You know what I'm saying? But it's just it's certain things you do. You cross certain things. It's just, it ain't no coming back from it. I have a cousin, Xavier Winfrey, known as Ivy. A lot of people know him. He's real popular in Flint. Same thing with him. He started something with me and my cousin Aljamain, 1,000 bars, whatever. And, ever since that situation didn't work out in their favor, they, tried to blame me for it, and basically was acting real feminine, like little girls, if you ask me. And these guys, try to, get in their emotions and feelings and have attitudes and hold grudges over the years. I've been past it. You know what I'm saying? I've been over it. I actually was over it from the time that it happened. I corrected the situation when it happened. They knew I meant business, and it was what it was. So I don't have no animosity, no issues. This video ain't for clout. It's just really to get the truth out for people to know. Like, look, I don't deal with them, and here's why. My uncle tried to extort me. Period. It goes all the way back, and I'm gonna do a part 2 to this video, just in case, if I feel I don't clarify certain things the first time. I was working on a certain campaign. Many don't know, I helped start the political mecca in Flint for our generation. Okay. There hadn't really been no real movement, no real action on the grassroots level for the people ever since Woodrow Stanley's era. So me and another guy who I work with under Durrell Buchanan's campaign, and I apologize, I don't have his name because I haven't talked to him in several years, but this is my guy. This is my bro, right? We started, he'll confirm this too. There was nobody out there pushing, nobody out there organizing, and nobody pushing initiatives and really connecting it with the digital space. Because remember, back then, we're talking 2010, 2011, we're talking. And I was in Flint active and got really involved in grassroots betterment, Uptown Reinvestment Marketing Committee back in 2007. So that's how long I go back in community service, activism, just pushing for different legislation and just organizing. I go back a long time, and I've worked on every type of campaign, from Ben Carson's campaign. I had took over his campaign throughout Genesee County and helped with that throughout Michigan. With thanks to I think it was Norm Hughes that helped me get on that and helped me take that over. But I've worked on district attorneys campaigns. I've worked on um, presidential campaigns. I've worked on every type of campaign basically you can work on. I've done that, and I've won every campaign myself. So it's just to tell you politically, I've never lost a campaign. I never lost an election. All my campaigns were successful. So thankfully, and I'll do a video on that because there's an art to it. But more importantly, my uncle, I was working with a local leader, and I happened to get a message or call. I don't know if he called, if it was. I know he wrote me, and he was in writing too. But I don't. I think I may have spoke with him, and I'm not sure. But basically, he pretty much. I want to say it was like it was a threat. It wasn't a nice interaction, and I had never had this type of conversation with him. I never had any issue. I never had a conflict with my uncle. My family, I always say, is like the Gotti family. So if you ain't ever really been in my family, you don't really understand how some things are, how some things are not talked about. People won't really help you. It's just different. It's a weird dynamic, and nevertheless, my intimate family is much different. But I never had a problem with my uncle, and so for him to come at me or not even try to sit down and say, hey, I see you doing this, or let me acknowledge what you're doing, and let me see if I can help you with this and go in a different direction. I don't know if it was the fact that I was just his nephew and I just happened to get into these things because I've worked on my uncle's campaign. Everybody knows since I was a little guy, I was the person before Del Rico, before whatever Robinson, Dwayne Robinson, all of these guys. They was never around when I was coming up. When I was in Flint, I never seen these guys like outside. Okay, so and I went to school with Del Rico, so that's a little bit different. We know each other personally outside of politics. But when it comes to my uncle, I was one of the main people. He would get a lot of other people throughout the community to help with different things, but I was one. He would come all the way because I think he was either on the north side or he stayed just on another part of the town, and he would come all the way to Concord Street where I lived, and he would come pick me up and give me money. We would go pass out flyers. I didn't know really what I was campaigning, and then I was working on campaign. I didn't understand the politics at that time and what I was doing, but everybody's always doing. My family, especially my grandmother, she always knew, like she was the witness to all of this when I was younger. She's deceased now, but I was always the person that he came and dealt with politically, and I didn't even understand. I kind of felt like too he was using child labor almost, like you come get us, pay us a couple dollars on the campaign because you ain't got to pay nobody else. That's really what it was. That's how my uncle thinks. He's always trying to be a maximum business person on top of politics. So I'm just letting you know, like he will shortchange you and underhand you. All right, non-profit for the profit is his thing. All right, if he can get it for free and make some money off of it or get some value out of it, that's what he is. More like extortion, though. Like, I'm just being honest. I do not think a lot of the things my uncle does is good intentions for real. I think a lot of it is sinister, and that's sad to say, but I'm being honest with you. But again, my uncle, again, he would come pick me up, and these are the type of things that happen. But so as I got older, I didn't know that I would get into a turn in this on my own. Like, I didn't know that he would take notice to it, and I didn't know that it would bother him. I didn't even know it was going to be an issue. Now, of course, this was a Democratic campaign that I'm telling you that he tried to extort me on and tell me to stop working with a person. And like I said, it was more like a threat. It wasn't like he was coming to speak to me in a respectful way or do anything like that. So basically, he contacted me, and I remember it like yesterday. I've never forgot it because he's never paid attention to what I was doing, and he's never come at me like this, but this time he did. And it's the one time we have never seen eye to eye, and we have been not cool ever since. So it's not just politics, it's beyond politics, more inter-family, other issues, just the lack of respect, the lack of honor, and just the lack of and almost jealousy to a large extent, because what we were doing, these are old heads, these are old guys in Flint, in Genesee County. they had been did their political thing, but they kept see in the black community it's sad because it's more so tribal. It's so tribal. So you got individuals who will do all that they can to keep power, and they won't ever want to give it up. So if you do anything opposite, they're always watching, and they'll tear you down. They will try to destroy you to keep power. So in this case, here it is. I'm working with some individuals. He's telling me he don't want me to work with them, but he didn't come out and say it in that way. The way he came at me was it was disrespectful, and not only disrespectful, but it was. I felt it could have been seen as a threat. Could have been seen as a threatening. Just the way he came at me was more of. I didn't appreciate it. Like I'm not. He didn't make me. He didn't. He didn't. It's a whole lot my uncle ain't did for me. So trust me, I'm not one that he tried to make or build up. Okay, so and trust me, he's the type that if he builds you up, he'll tear you down. So I've never looked to him for a handout. You feel what I'm saying? I think my uncle helped me one time with my father's obituary, and for that, I don't really go in on him. My father died. He helped pay for it, and so for that, it's a certain like I could really go in. You got to think over the last 10 years, I've held off of my family. I've really held back. I've never publicly even talked about it. And now I am, and I'm gonna do it in best way that I can to be truthful and honest. But I'm gonna be real about it, and I'm gonna give him his accolades too, because I want people to see the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't want you to just see one side of it. I want you to know the truth. So yeah, he tried to extort me, told me who he didn't want me to talk to. I'm not gonna get into all the details and specifics of it, but basically, he just came at me in a real disrespectful way. Not just disrespectful, but for him to even come at me, I'm a real Flint dude. Like I said, a real Flint person that don't look. We don't play that. Like you gotta respect us as men. We gotta show respect, and we give respect. Like that's just how that works. So he know this. Like he know the code. My uncle was like I said, and my family's more like the Gotti family. He's like he's literally like a gangster. Okay, I'm just put it out there. So when you dealing with him, it's like mob rule. When you dealing in Flint with certain things, it's mob rule. That's just how it go. Um, and so at this time, I felt he didn't have a right to try to come at me. And like I said, he didn't try to sit down and talk to me and say, "Hey, Darwin," because I would have probably heard him out. If my uncle would have pulled me to the side, "Hey, nephew, let me tell you about. Do you know about this and this and such?" And I probably would say, "Okay, uncle, I'll back up off of that." And I probably never would have got involved in activism and politics to the degree that I did. Everything that happened with him played a big part, and of course, my father's death into why I got involved in urban politics and why I changed and did a lot of different things, and even how Urban ZionU is come about, which came out of a brand of Flint urban culture, and I could talk about that at another time. But basically, yeah, he tried to get me to not deal with certain people and extorted me in a sense of like if I don't do it, like I felt it could be consequences about it, or it was like a threat. And I'm not that guy. Like you're not gonna do me like that. Like I'm not. You can't little me. Most people don't understand how much I've been through, what experiences I've had, and I said I'm gonna be a lot more transparent, which is why I'm doing this video because I want people to know that I'm not just out here making up something, or I ain't out here just being messy or just hopping on the internet. No, like for 10 years plus, I've not said nothing about this incident and what really happened, and he got it in writing, so I got the receipts and proof for all of it. You know what I'm saying? But just notice after that, I noticed my uncle I seen him very much as a selfish person, and not only that, it's other conversations we've had, and where he just his thoughts, his thinking. And I don't know if he'd seen me. I think he seen me as a protege, and the more I got older, I didn't want to be that. Like I didn't want it. Like I think, and now that I think of it, because I'm remembering some old conversations, and it's like he would talk to me about things, and my perspective was so different from his. Like he said something to me one time about the black church, and he said the black church number one job. Now I'm a believer, right? For real, I believe I'm a man of faith, man of God. So I take this very serious, even more serious than politics. But he says, the number one job for the black church is put the black man in power. Now I'm pro-black, so please understand I get that part. But when he starts perverting the Bible, I have a problem with that. Like on a faith conviction level, that's not what the God's congregation is about. It's not just about putting one set of people. Although the body of God should be interracial. Jew and Gentile is God's ultimate design for people. So, and just at that time, I just wasn't with what he was on, and I never supported it, and I never wanted to be it. And I'm just telling you, so I'm listening to that, and I'm hearing these type of things, and I realized over the years I was never gonna be what he wanted me to be, because I wasn't gonna be that, and I let it be known I wasn't gonna be that. And it was other things that he's did, like I can't even tell you some private personal things concerning. I can just think of my wedding reception, some things that happened, and I know he was behind. Um, just I can tell you some things like the dude and that let me know, man, you a malicious, calculating. He's not a good person, if you ask me. That's just me. I don't like. I don't really like my uncle Charles Winfrey. That's just to be real. I don't like him. I don't like what he stand for. That's just I'm being honest with you. So ain't no point in me faking it. We ain't gotta be friends. We ain't gotta hang out. It is what it is. Do I love my uncle? Yes, I love my uncle, and it is what it is. And he's not the type um to try to bury nothing, bury the hatchet type person. And I don't kiss the ring. You feel what I'm saying? I don't kiss the ring. So, we just have had this divide, and it just came ultimately out of him trying to extort me and coerce me and get me to be a protege of his that I didn't want to be. And I didn't want to be it because my values are different. I went to college. I'm global. I've been around the world. I've seen things differently. And he's been in the same city for 80 years. 70, 80 years. You're supposed to have some type of rank and pull. I mean, that's his whole agenda. And that's all for him to consolidate power. Now, again, I said this on one of my videos under Urban Zion University on Facebook, but it's a part one there, and I'm gonna do a part two to it as well. But I said, support the McCree Theater. That's ours. It's black. He even passed a millage. He could get tax money for it. So when I say all of that, I mean most of what my uncle has did has been for him. Even the nepotism situation. I love my cousin Jerry. She's a councilwoman in Flint. But we know that was his move. Everybody know that. She's not a politician. And she actually is a community person. She will help you. She's a good person. Like, she's not a bad. I almost feel bad for her because she got in politics during one of the worst times because they're going to attack you and, your life is over at that point. No privacy. You're public bait at that point. And so she's not a bad person. She's a good person. She actually helped me, wanted to help me through high school. So again, I don't mean this to be disrespectful. I just want the truth to be out. I don't, me and my uncle ain't cool. We haven't officially fell out. I hope he'll get this video. People will show or he'll hear about it. But, I don't, it's no love. Like, it's no hatred. Like, we're not beefing or nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he know I don't like him. And he don't like what I stand for to a certain extent. And I think he tried to make that clear too by, trying to raise people up against me and do a lot of other things. He used my playbook. I said this in the video from Facebook on ZionU. But, it was a time where they lost. Woodrow Stanley and Charles Winfrey had lost. They were non-relevant in Flint. All right. You had Dane Walling. So many other people that came along and had tried to take over in Flint. Basically the white progressives. And so, during that time, they had lost that Senate seat to Cherry, the guy who works with Dan Kildee. And he wasn't relevant. So at this time, it's just timing, how God works. I got involved in activism and we were strong. It was Durrell Buchanan's campaign. And that's how we got on. So when that happened, he needed life, and I really was the person that filled that in. I was the life to his political ambitions again. And I even used to tease my uncle and say it to my little cousin, like, Charles Winfrey ain't a public official. Like, he's never been elected. And then next thing you know, he's almost 70, 80 years old. He's trying to run for a county commissioner seat, like as if we didn't need another young person. And then he turns around and he gets his other protege, which is Del Rico Lloyd, to come in and be in. So I'm just telling you the type of things that they do. It's nobody in Flint that's run or can run in Flint without going through my Uncle Charles Winfrey. You're either with Governor Gretchen Whitmer and her new crew in Flint that they're trying to take over, that's working with Neely, or you're with the greater Flint. And some of the Flint is with Neely too. You know, he has a pretty decent following of black people, despite the Woodrow Stanley wing trying to revolt against them with Karen Weaver. You know, and then you know, I think Leon El Amin is a good guy. You know, don't fall for the character assassination attempt against him. Who took over for Eric Mays, Leon El Amin, he's a council member, because they helped support him and then they tried to tear him down and use a very much propaganda to try to tear him down. And we're going to do an interview. We got interviews set up for him. We're going to discuss all of this. But I just want to say my piece, say my truth about it. You know, that's how me and my uncle has never been cool. You know, he tried to extort me in every sense. It's just, it was a bunch of domino effects from there, family issues. Um, yeah, and I think everybody deserves to be able to contribute and give back to where they from, especially if they're doing it for the right reasons. My uncle knew where I came from. He knew I was a troubled youth. He knew that, you know, I had a lot of, you know, challenges coming up, and I overcame those challenges and continue to overcome them. And you know, all of my intentions for Flint Urban Culture and ZionU is all legit and legitimate through personal experiences, my legacy, other people's story and life and legacy. So this is a real thing. Like, this ain't just for me. I'm helping work with other people that we're gonna all want to impact urban America. But I just felt we could have did it differently, and we could have worked together and allowed everybody. Like, he's attacked quite a few people, from good people he's tried to attack because they voted against him or came against him. I said Danielle Green was attacked throughout the media. Dr. Danielle Green, former president of the board of Flint School Board, because she voted to have the McCree Theater evicted from Northwestern. And guess what? She did it in the best interest of the school district, the kids, and it was the best administrative decision. But because she's not kissing the ring, you feel me? You get in a lot of trouble for not kissing the ring. You get in a lot of trouble for not following the political status quo. So did Juantez Davis. He's someone that they want to control. He didn't want to do it. So you got a lot of people that's been attacked in Flint. Um, it's so much stuff. I'm telling you, a lot of people, even the clerk in Flint, being attacked. A lot of that has a lot to do with my uncle Charles Winfrey. So just know it's been a lot that he's been entangled in. As I said, he's like an octopus. His hands is in everything. And again, I see why him and Woodrow Stanley and Charles Winfrey were best friends. You won't find a better friendship. I mean, they were going against the feds together in politics. I mean, and they didn't fold. So, you know, I have a great respect. When I even said I feel like I needed to apologize to Woodrow Stanley, former rep and former mayor of Flint, may he rest in peace, because I fought him for a long time. Because again, matter of fact, when Woodrow Stanley came to my father's memorial, I didn't even invite him. He just popped up at my memorial. That was really what turned me against Woodrow Stanley. He popped up at my father's memorial. I'm grieving. Now, he's not here to help me, console me. He just pops up there. My uncle had him do it. That's really what it was. I got to put that out there. And when he did that, my father was a victim of a homicide. Like, he's dead. He's you know what I'm saying? And I'm there. They don't follow up with me. They don't try to help me. They don't, you know, they're not there. They're there to politic, because we're at a non-denominational church and the pastor is viewed or seen as being a Republican, which was Lonnie Brown, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries. Hey, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Everybody know this is the truth. These are facts. And everything went left, not only just from that, but the extortion and so many other things. So yeah, I mean, that's what solidified our permanent divorce and not being able to be close. I would say we always can work together for the culture. We can help Flint, and we have worked together and partnered. I've helped sponsor McCree Theater, gave money to McCree Theater. So please understand, as Black people, we can disagree, even a family, we can disagree, not deal with each other, not even like each other, and still come together for the greater good. You got to know how to be mature enough politically and mature enough, period, to do that. And that's where it's at with me and my uncle. Love him, but that's what it is, okay? Hope my cousin Jerry don't take offense to this, because You know, she's like his guard dog. So if you get the problem with him, she'll try to say something. But that's just how daughters are. You know, my daughter's just like that. So, and she's only 4, my baby. So anyway, that's that part one. I had to leave y'all with this. Charles Winfrey, 2nd District, Genesee County Commissioner. This is the truth. This is my story. All right.